All right. Says I'm live. If you guys can hear me, please let me know and we'll get this started. About 50 of you waiting in here, so I do appreciate you stopping by today. If you could do me a favor and leave a like when you get in here, if you're already here right now, I truly would appreciate that. Every little bit does help. But looking forward to talking the race at Sonoma. Not a huge road course fan, but I think for DFS purposes, they tend to be pretty fun. Lots of strategy involved. We have lots of good place differential plays. Some guys that could end up being traps. I think we have some decent plays starting close to the front, so pretty fun slate, lots of ways we can go, and there is so many good plays, and not everybody's going to be a good play, so there's going to be some trap plays today, so we'll see who that's going to end up being. I'll tell you my leans there. I'll be more than happy to answer all your questions, but let me pop the chat out. If I can get a good to go, I would appreciate that, but let's see here. Okay, sheet up. But like I was saying, should be a fun slate. Got everything done, articles up, projections, ownership, all that fun stuff. So we can reference that if you have any questions. But yeah, it should be a fun one. Like I said, lots of good plays today, but could end up being a lot of traps. Several ways you can go for cash games. Like I said, lots of good plays, differential plays. Christopher Bell, Austin Cindric, Eric Jones. You have Stenhouse, Martin Truex Jr. So should be a fun slate. Definitely looking forward to it. What's up, Sprague? I'm Miami Wrenchman here. Do appreciate you stopping by. What's up, Andre? Nate says, favorite GPP plays on DraftKings. There's a lot of guys I do like. I think two that could go slightly overlooked might be Kurt Busch and Daniel Suarez. They're two I'm certainly looking at quite a bit. Just to kind of hint in on here for Kurt Busch. I mean, the guy's a seasoned vet at road courses. He has a really good track history at Sonoma, which I know it's Sonoma. We haven't raced that too much, so I'm not sure how much you really want to put into it. But I mean, overall road course strength for Kurt Busch definitely looks very solid. I mean, if you look at the numbers of Sonoma, 5 top 10s the past 6 races here, average finish of 7.3. If you look at the past 10 races at road courses, average running position of 12, average finish of 13.5, 5 top 10s, 3 top 5s. Kurt showed some speed in practice, only $8,200. There is a lot of chalk around him. You have Kevin Harvick with PD, Austin Cindric. You're going to have Dinger, who's going to be popular, Christopher Bell, Eric Jones, and similar price points. So I'm definitely liking Kurt Busch as a pivot there. And also Daniel Suarez is the guy that I have a lot of interest. I like his teammate Ross Chastain. I assume Suarez is going to bring some speed. He was very fast at COTA early on, had some issues, and it just kind of nuked his day overall. But definitely looks strong. Had a strong practice session on Saturday. I like his price point starting in 8th. You're playing him as a top 5, top 3 contender. But I think he's certainly capable of doing that. He's had good road courses back in the day. I realize maybe it's not his overall strong suit if we're looking at the past 10 races, but he's had a lot of issues in that race, and if you're looking at his odds in Vegas compared to a lot of the guys he's priced around, after practice yesterday, this might have updated, but he was plus 1,200. The next best guy with 1,200 is Denny Hamlin, all the way up at $9,600. So I do think we are getting some decent value there compared to his pricing and compared to the price you have to pay in Vegas for him to, as a race winner. So definitely a pretty big fan of Suarez and Kurt Busch in tournaments today. And spread dropping the link there. Yeah, if you want to join our YouTube contest, I believe we have about 30 some spots left. So if you want to join, you can hit the link there. More than happy to get you in there. What's up, Rick? Ready for the best NASCAR content? I appreciate that. Hopefully I can deliver today. Hopefully I can deliver. I think it's a fun slate. I'm pretty spread out as far as my exposures go. It's outside of 2 guys. I'm very heavily invested on Eric Jones and Christopher Bell, because outside of them wrecking out early, they're probably going to end up being optimal, if not close to it. So I feel pretty comfortable being very deep into Bell and Jones today. Outside of that, yeah, there's a couple guys that do creep up quite a bit for me, but I like, as far as the expensive guys, I am pretty evenly exposed to Larson, Elliott, Busch, and Truex today. I'm a little bit heavier on Busch and Truex over Larson and Elliott. And I'm talking a few percentages just because they offer me PD upside, and obviously Truex starting nearly 30th, and Kyle Busch I feel like has similar upside to Larson and Elliott, but starting 11 spots further back. So it's a little bit easier to click on him, and he's a little bit cheaper. But I have around 30% of all 4 of those guys up top. No real strong stances there. I could see scenarios where, that's why I'm kind of spread out, because I can see scenarios for all 4 of them being optimal where, not obviously in the same lineup, but if Larson does what he did last year at Sonoma, he has a really fast car today, and he ends up leading half the race and finishing 1st or 2nd, which I think is certainly plausible. Yeah, I want Larson in my lineups. And the same can be said for Chase Elliott, where I could see him doing the same exact thing as Kyle Larson if he could get the lead early on, or he could lead the second half of this race and finish 1st or 2nd. So I want exposure to Elliott. For Kyle Busch, he's got the PD upside. If he finishes in the top 3, good chance to see Kyle Busch popping up close to the optimal lineup. Now, maybe does he have to win? I'm not sure he's going to have to win. If something happens to Larson or Elliott or like a Chastain, maybe he doesn't have to win. He can just finish top 3, top 4. But, I mean, starting in 12th, you get the PD upside. And if those guys aren't going to lead a chunk of laps, yeah, Kyle Busch could certainly get there. Then Martin Truex Jr., if he just doesn't suck today and he finishes around the top 12, you're going to be very happy with the output you get from Truex. And you compare him with someone starting closer to the front, like an Elliott, like a Larson, a Chastain. So, easier path for Truex there. Obviously, Larson and Elliott have the tougher paths for where they're starting, but the upside's certainly there. So I'm very evenly exposed. And then Chastain, you can kind of view him as the same-ish play as Kyle Busch. There's not as much PD upside. So it felt long-winded, but that's kind of my thoughts on the top dogs there. They're all good plays. I have over 25% of the top 5 highest priced drivers today, so I'm pretty evenly split on them. And I'm making all my pivots kind of in the mid-range and the cheap guys for the most part. What's up, Nick? Papa Giorgio, love that name. How many lineups did you have Allmendinger in if you were playing the $1 DK20 max? So if I was playing the 20 max, I wouldn't mind getting around 40-some% to AJ Allmendinger. And 150 max, I have close to 35%. So I usually try to have a tighter core in a 20 max, and I'd want Allmendinger part of that. So if you want to go 40 to 50% on Dinger, I don't have a problem with that. I definitely think he's going to be one of the top dogs today. Starting in 16th, I'm hoping that keeps his ownership down somewhat just because, he's right beside Bell, starting 15 spots further back. You have Cindric starting about 10 spots further back. So I thought Dinger was going to be massive chalk heading into the weekend. Obviously, after qualifying happened, I think that changes a little bit. He's still going to be high owned. He's going to be in the 20s, but he's not going to be as high as I thought. I thought he was going to be in the 30s. Like on Wednesday or Thursday whenever pricing dropped. What's up, SS Jackson? Always appreciate your comments. Let's do it. Should be a fun one. What's up, Bonnie? Happy race day. Yeah. Should be a good race today. The fun thing about road courses is I never have a good time checking like DraftKings or Fanduel during the race because there's like every single driver seems to be on a different strategy. So I have no idea how I'm ever doing. Like, yeah, sometimes I'm getting killed, but all those guys need a pit at some point, and then it's like, so if you're watching the race today and we have a bunch of drivers on different strategies, it might not be the best to check DraftKings or FanDuel until close to the end because, there's usually always so many different strategies at road courses. Just something to keep in mind if you're getting absolutely killed or if you're winning a lot of money at some point. It could certainly change. Because you'll see some guys do stage racing for points or some guys just going for the win. TD says, thoughts on having Larson and Elliott in the same lineup? If you're building 150 lineups and you want to do that in some of them, sure. I didn't set any groups today. But if you're building like 1 to 3 lineups or even 1 to 20, I'm probably not going to have both of them in the same lineup. I think that's a tough path. Like, if they both led half the race and finish 1-2, and then Truex doesn't like get a top 10 or Kyle Busch doesn't finish top 3, it's possible, yes. So there's scenarios in 150 max where I would say it's okay. But if I'm hand building lineups, I'm probably not doing that. I would rather pair Larson with a Chastain over an Elliott just because, road courses, there's not enough downhill points to really make that worth your while. What's up, Mike? Good afternoon, everyone. So many good plays today, for sure. And the thing is, if there's so many good plays, it's just not possible that they're all good plays. So some of these guys are going to be traps. So it's the ones I don't have the most of. But one driver kept me out of the top money. Yeah, if you're like me, it was Briscoe. And it sucked because I think we were on the right path with Briscoe. Well, hold on, I got a super chat. Let me answer that quick. Busher cash play says DL. Yeah, definitely. Busher 100% in cash today. Please don't do that. I think DL won I think it was like 8K on F1 this morning, I think. I don't know if it changed, but if that's what it stayed at, congratulations, that's awesome. But yeah, Chris Buescher, definitely the best cash play today. That is for sure. I hope no one took me serious. But yeah, anyway, Chase Briscoe, shoot, that sucked. Because everyone else did pretty good for the most part last week for me. And Blaney hit, Joey Logano hit, AJ Allmendinger hit. Those are 3 some highest on drivers. And then, Chase Briscoe, he led like half the first stage. And then what do you know? A tire goes out again. I feel like every single guy I'm high owned on just happens to be the guy with the main tire issue and just kills his race. So that was unfortunate, but what are you going to do? Can't control the tires, unfortunately. Hopefully no issues like that today. Hopefully, but I'm sure it'll happen at some point. What's up, Chris? Been busy today. Haven't had time to get in Discord. No problem at all. Bell, Cindric, Truex, Jones, Wallace, and Allmendinger for cash, or do I need someone closer to the front? If you are playing cash today, I don't think you need to mess with anybody near the front. The closest guy I'd probably consider in the front, like highest up in cash games, would be Kyle Busch today. I don't think you need to play Larson or Elliott in cash. Obviously, you can play them in tournaments. But for me personally, I don't know if I want to go with Bubba Wallace in cash games. Like, he's fine. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. But I was playing with the build, and I like going down to Ty Dillon, and then I could upgrade somebody else to like a William Byron over a Dinger. Not saying that Byron's really much of an upgrade over Dinger. I have Dinger projected better than William Byron today. So if you want to keep that, that's fine. But I do think Ty Dillon will be pretty popular in cash games, starting all the way back in 34th. And honestly, Ty Dillon could outscore Bubba Wallace. Wallace is not a very good road course racer. Did he show some speed in practice? Yes. But I don't know. It's like Ty Dillon's got a real safe floor there. Chris says, is it okay to go completely place differential in cash? Yeah, that's fine. Like in tournaments, I am targeting drivers. I'm mixing it. Like I still have a lot of place differential, but I have guys to the front. Like in my 3 max today, I did one lineup with Larson, and then obviously I paired the guys up, and then I did one lineup with Elliott, and then I did one lineup with Kyle Busch, and then I paired him up with Truex. So I kind of got a piece of all the big drivers there. And I wasn't able to get Chastain, and I'm trying to see if I can fit Chastain into one of those because I really want him. I like him a lot, but I can't get a 3 max, but I like with him in there. And if I use him, I'm gonna have to take out either Truex, which then I wouldn't have any Truex in my 3 max, or I'm gonna have to take out like an Elliott or Larson, which I'm not sure I want to do. I think if I was gonna take anybody out, it'd probably be Elliott, but we'll see. We'll see. It wouldn't feel good not having any Elliott in my 3 max, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm fine with place differential in cash. There's not enough laps to really warrant wanting the dominator in cash games. Like even if Larson wins, I don't think he's going to be completely chalk in cash. Like people will play him, yeah, but I think there's downside to it because, if he has an issue at some point, he finishes like 8th. Even if he led a lot of laps, I don't think it's going to be enough. So like a guy like Truex, he can limp his way to a top 15 and it'll be a pretty safe play today for cash purposes. Cameron says, good afternoon, Chris. Beautiful day in South Florida. Yeah, it sure is, Cameron. Are you in South Florida as well? It's been rainy the past week, it feels like, but pretty sunny and warm out. I think it's close to 90 right now. Took a little walk before we got in here, so for sure. Jason says, Big Beck Stud is in the house. What's up, Jason? Feel like I haven't heard from you a while, so nice to see you. Better play at the top, Elliott or Larson. You're splitting hairs. My projections, I believe, are... So my Larson Elliott projection is within 0.8 or 0.9 points, so it's very close. I got a slight lean to Larson because he's on the pole and his car looked amazing yesterday. It's a slight edge to Larson because if I had to pick somebody to win, I would pick him. But I want to say, after practice yesterday, Kyle Busch opened up at 1,400. I think that got bet down a little bit. I can check, but I would have, if I lived in a legal betting state, I would have hammered the 1,400 on Kyle Busch because that is just for no reason. I'm not sure why that was. He's now down at, no, that's the championship. Hold on. Let's see. For the race today, Busch is now at 1,200. So, that's still pretty good. Like, you have Elliott at 380 as the favorite now. Larson at 400. Chastain at 1,000. Busch at 1,200. Just debating some. I really want Chastain in one of my 3 max lineups. Not having him, I don't like it, but I don't really want to nuke my Truexes on. Could be a good pivot though in tournaments, just because lower ownership. But we'll see. Hope maybe I can decide by the end of this live stream. Anyway, did you ask me? I already answered the question. Okay. Josh says DK Cash, Truex, Byron, Bell, Suarez, Jones, and Keselowski. Thanks. I think that's a better tournament lineup. I like Suarez a lot today. Keselowski, I like. He showed some speed. I like his price point. If you're playing cash games, though, for me personally, I'm not going to play Suarez in cash just because he's starting, 8th, I believe. Yeah, 8th place. I would rather... Did you say Jones? Okay, you did say Jones, so I thought maybe you could even pivot there. I wouldn't personally play Suarez in cash. I just think it's a little bit risky there. Maybe trying to get in a guy like... So I already have Byron. I feel like you're missing somebody, but I'm not sure who it is. You could maybe move your Suarez to like a Dinger or something like that, or Cindric. Cindric might be the guy you're missing that I'm thinking of. And then you maybe move down to Ty Dillon or something like that. Flights Demon says Larson's home track. Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to like Larson today. I think there's a decent chance he loses a good chunk of this race and finishes within the top 3. Although if you're playing Larson, you're playing him to win. But it's certainly possible. He's got a really good car today. Very fast, and he's obviously been very good at road courses. Some Mom's here. Hear you loud and clear. Let's go Logano. Happy race to everyone. Good luck, NASCAR fans. Yeah. I was with the on Logano last week. I'm hoping he doesn't do that well today. I don't have much of him just because of where he's priced. Not that he's expensive, but he's right beside Byron. He's right beside Bell and Dinger. It's hard to get to much of them. Wayne says, Chris, are there usually a lot of crashes on these types of tracks? I mean, sometimes we'll get some spin outs, but you know, the way a road course is, you're not going to hopefully see like a 20 car pileup or anything since we're not on an oval or at super high speeds. I mean, yeah, some guys are probably going to spin. We'll see someone wreck. We'll see some guys wreck out for sure, have issues, but I wouldn't expect like Daytona or anything. At least I hope. Well, maybe I do hope so because I got a lot of place differential play, so maybe I do want Daytona. Joseph says, are you going to leak the Awesemo name change on? I don't think so. I don't think so. Jim Parrish says, what's up? What's up, Jim? It's race day. I believe you're the one going to the race today, right? From Discord, Jim? If so, enjoy it. If we need a caution, please throw something on the track for us. But I was wondering, Keselowski or Wallace in the 6,000 spot. For me, I would go with Keselowski. I know you're losing some PD spots, but I feel like I could trust Keselowski a little bit more on the road course. And plus, he showed some decent speed yesterday, so I'll go with Kes there. Because I had the opportunity personally in one of my 3-max builds to go with Wallace or Keselowski, and I went Kes. So just be transparent there. Philip says, how do I feel about Cindric today? I like him. Starting in 25th, I like his price point. Still 1,800 to win, so it's not like he's getting nuked just because he had bad practice in qualifying, but one of the better road course racers out there, crushed it in the Xfinity Series. I know the finishes haven't really been there for Cindric in the Cup Series so far, but he's had many races with a lot of issues. Finished 9th at Indy, though, last year, and 8th at COTA. I mean, if he can get you a top 12 today, you'll be happy at his price point, and honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if he contended for a top 5. So, yeah, I like Cindric a lot. I play him in cash games, I play him in tournaments, and I'm hoping he was a little bit overlooked just because, you know, the rookie and maybe not a ton of name value there, and he's right beside some other good drivers, so. Like, if it's between him or Harvick, I mean, I'd rather get the Cindric, I think. I mean, I know Harvick showed some more speed in practice yesterday, but I just really like Cindric's skill set at road courses. See, Austin says, we finally got the kid a haircut. Yeah, I finally got a haircut on Monday, I think. It was getting a little rough last live stream, and also shaved, so look a little more presentable this time. Bonnie says, Kyle Busch, Larson, Truex, LaJoie, Ty Dillon, last man in, Kurt Busch, Harvick, or Suarez. Okay, so that's a very top-heavy lineup. You have Busch, I like, Larson, Truex. So you have Truex as the main PD guy, Ty Dillon, LaJoie. With that build, since you have Larson in there, I would probably go with... It's going to be between Kurt Busch or Harvick, I think. Let me check my projections. I'll just go straight off of that. So I have Harvick a couple more points higher than Kurt Busch. And I actually have Suarez 0.3 higher than Harvick, but with the build you have, I'd feel more comfortable going with Harvick there. Avery Drake says, Larson, Bubba, or Kurt Busch, Dinger. I would go with Kurt Busch and Dinger there. I like that combo a lot. Also, let me... I forgot to tweet out the link to the contest. 1 second. Let me see if I can get that going. So, if you haven't joined the contest yet, we got about 20-some spots. I'm going to tweet it on Twitter, so if you haven't joined yet, I'm at Chris Pennell 16. I'll tweet it out in a second. So, 1 second. Link to join the DK contest. Okay, I just tweeted it, so if you haven't joined yet, hit up my Twitter, Chris Pennell 16, hit the link, and you can join. Should be easy peasy. Alright, anyway, lost my spot. Where we go? Spread says, hi, Mrs. Pennell. Yes, she is here. Wayne says, so do we need dominators with a bunch of back players or a bunch of middle of the pack players? You don't really need dominators today, per se. It's basically a finishing position place differential race, and that doesn't mean to exclude Larson, Elliott. I'm viewing them as just finishing position guys. Like, yeah, I mean, I'd like them to lead laps, but if they finish 1-2, I'll take it. But I'm not making a dominator group today. It's basically just kind of whatever fills my lineups. I don't have a set grouping. I don't really want that much Larson or Elliott together, though. That's for sure. I'd rather pair them with guys with place differential upside. Like, if I had to pick between Larson and Elliott or Larson and Busch paired together, I'd much rather go with Larson and Busch. It feels a lot better. But it's just kind of a mixture for me. Like, I have a lot of lineups that have a couple drivers close to the front, then a bunch of place differential place for the most part. What's up, Sarugi? Hello. Any thoughts on GPP racers for Fanduel? I have not yet done my Fanduel crunch, so we're gonna figure that out together, I guess. But I'm looking at some of the projected ownership here. Oh, well, my thing just disappeared, so let me get that back up. But looking at the price tags, I mean, as far as Fanduel is concerned, I don't think a lot of people are going to be on Cindric at $11,000. Maybe they will be. I have not yet crunched yet. Looking at some of the projected ownership here, doesn't seem like Cindric's going to be super high owned. So I definitely wouldn't mind being overweight there. Bowman at $7,800, but I need to build that first. I was mainly crunching DraftKings earlier today, and I was going to do my Fanduel during or after the stream, but just popping up with the projections like quite a bit. Some of the guys that are popping up the most, Bell, Busch. Getting a lot of Hamlin over on Fanduel, but not much on DraftKings. Just the way pricing and the way scoring is over there. Good chunk of Suarez, good chunk of Briscoe, good chunks of Dinger and Cindric. So, I mean, it's basically what you would expect, really. But if I start building some more Fanduel lineups, I can answer that better later. But I have not yet crunched it. But I'm doing 150 max over there, so we'll see what happens. Wayne says, one lineup for DraftKings GPP, what would you do? If I had one lineup today, I would probably go with Kyle Busch. I think I really like Kyle Busch today. I mean, obviously great at technical road courses, was super fast in practice. Fourth in the 1 lap, third in the 5. First to 10, obviously very good at Sonoma. I'd probably start with Busch. I'd get Bell in. I'd get Jones. And I'd probably try to get Dinger too. I'm not sure how much money that leaves you, but those are guys I'd definitely be targeting if I had one lineup. Chris Palmer says, place differential lineup for cash. Truex, Bell, Dinger, Byron, Jones, and Burton, too risky. I mean, that's the opposite of risky, really. It's about as safe as you can get. Although I think a lot of people change Burton to Ty Dillon, and then it's just like the ultimate like place differential lineup. And because I mean, there's nothing risky about it. Like, there's not too many laps to lead today. Like, yeah, if you're playing cash games and someone like Larson ends up leading 60 laps, even if he wins, it's like it's probably not the end of the world as long as you have Truex that happens to do well and all your place differential guys just don't wreck out. Because a lot of people are going to be doing the same strategy in cash games. Now, if you're playing tournaments, I'd like some drivers up front for sure. Andre says, is Larson chalk? I mean, by chalk, I mean, I think he's going to be around 30% owned today, but he's not going to be the highest owned driver. At least that's what I'm not projecting. I think Eric Jones probably holds the crown today. Him and Christopher Bell probably end up being the 2 highest owned drivers just because they're so easy to fit. Like, yeah, Larson on the pole, fast car, everyone's going to want to play him. But at the same time, it's like, well, everyone's going to want to play Chase too. Kyle Busch, Truex, that look very appealing. But it's really easy, no matter who you play up top, to fit in guys like Eric Jones and Christopher Bell. So I think they'll have higher ownership today. Be very shocked if they're not the 2 highest owned drivers. And I think it'll be pretty spread out up top as far as the ownership goes, because there's really not much separating guys like Larson, Elliott, Busch, and Truex. Jared says, Truex, Dinger, Bell, Cindric, Ty Dillon, and Bowman for tournaments. I don't have a problem. It's chalky. It's very chalky for tournaments, but it's a good lineup though. But if you're looking for low ownership, that's not it. But it's definitely a good lineup though. Like, I would run it. I'd have no problem with that. Ken says, I'm worried about Truex. He didn't like his car. Convince me, Chris. Well, he didn't like his car last week, I'll tell you that. And he looked pretty darn good. But it's a road course. I think he'll figure it out. I mean, he's obviously very good at Sonoma. Good at road courses in general. He was optimal at Coda early in the season. Yeah, he might not like his car, but I think he'll be okay. Like, if he was starting 13th, sure, I'd much rather play Kyle Busch. But he's starting 28th. He doesn't need to do much today. Doesn't need to do much. Got a donut from a man spread. Appreciate that very much. Honest opinion, Blaney wins, right? No. My honest opinion is that he does not win, even though you want me to say he does win. Spread's the biggest Blaney fan I know. He had so much Joey last week, but he was rooting for Joey to like crash and burn at the end of the race. And I'm like, Spread, think about the money, not your phantom. But no, I don't think Blaney wins today. Mike says, what's your setting for unique drivers today? I usually just leave it at 1. I mean, I know some people like to go 2 or 3, but I just leave it at 1. Philip says, who's your favorite sneaky play for Fanduel? I wish I crunched Fanduel before I got on the show, but I was struggling to get some DraftKings lineups in. I think maybe as far as sneaky goes, like I don't do my own projected ownership for Fanduel, I only do it for DraftKings. So I'm looking at some of the projected ownership here on Osmo. And I mean, Briscoe's looking decently low owned, so is Kurt Busch. Who else? I mean, all the guys I like are kind of. I mean, Keselowski's only $4,500 on Fanduel. If you want to play Keselowski over there, you can pretty much play whoever the heck you want. After that, I wouldn't mind that. I like Suarez. He's only looking like 12% owned right now. If Suarez is 12% owned on Fanduel, I definitely want to be overweight on that. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's kind of like the same guys I like on DraftKings, though. It's Kurt Busch, Briscoe, Suarez, Keselowski, as far as like Fanduel tournament plays go, that are projecting to be lower owned right now. Favorite 10K plus cash guy? Truex for me. You don't need much from Truex today. Like, is he the best tournament play? I don't think so. Is he my favorite play among the 10K bunch? Probably not. But if you're playing cash games, I'm just taking the safety net there with Truex. Because, like, if there's anything that happens to Larson really during this race and they're not up front for the majority of the day, I mean, you probably don't see them being optimal. In tournaments, I'm willing to take that chance, but in cash games, I'm not. Kyle says, thoughts on Bowman? He's been consistent road courses. Yeah. I mean, I like Bowman a lot heading into the weekend. He didn't show me much in practice, unfortunately. 23rd in the 1 lap, 24th in the 5 lap, but he is really good at road courses, and I'm giving some other guys passes for slower practice sessions, so I'm willing to do that for Bowman. I still have around, let me check my exposures. These are not final yet, but I still have around, I'm going to try to get to like 15% Bowman. Maybe, I'm not sure if I can get more in there, just because I'm higher on guys like Kurt Busch and Daniel Suarez. And I think they'll be a little bit lower owned, so it's kind of like my pivot options there. But I don't mind getting to some Bowman. But I just think the way the pricing shakes out and how qualifying did, I think there's better plays. But not necessarily a bad play. Anthony says, for your Fort Myers family, I need a win today. Let's do it. I got screwed last week. What are your top 3 picks not in the Dominator pack? I mean, for me, it's pretty much just, it's the really chalky guys, but it's hard to avoid them. Christopher Bell, Eric Jones, and then I'd probably get to a lot of, who's my 3rd highest owned guy right now? Oh yeah, I got a lot of Cindric as well. I keep forgetting Cindric. Like he's just kind of hiding there in the 8K range. Hoping some people forget about him as well. I'm certainly not. I got a lot of Cindric today. What's up, Rick? Nice for you to wake up. Is Larson going to stink up the show today? It's certainly possible. It's certainly possible that he just dominates this race. We'll see what happens, though, but I'm definitely... My lineups are definitely planning for at least a good chunk of Larson domination, that is for sure. Justin says, who's going to wreck Ross first? Oh, I hope he doesn't get wrecked today. I'm planning on playing him. Obviously fast in practice, good at road courses, won at Coda, but it's certainly possible Hamlin could dump him at some point. And Chastain's starting 7th, Denny Hamlin's starting 10th. They're going to be close to each other. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Elliott should be up front, so hopefully he's not worrying about Ross for a while. Jason says, thoughts on Dinger to win at 1,700? I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I mean, for me personally, I like the Kyle Busch bet at, well, he was 1,400. He's 1,200 now, but I mean, I don't have a problem betting Dinger to win. He could have won at Coda, but then he was in the middle of bumper cars with Bowman and Chastain. Chris says, Ty Dillon or Burton and Cash head to head. For me, that's going to be Ty Dillon. Just take the extra PD spots. Plus, he's not a rookie, so definitely the safer bet, in my opinion. Jesus says, is both Jones a must on single entry? Both Jones? Is there two Jones? I don't think there's two Jones. I'm trying to think maybe what you mean. Is both Jones a must? Am I stupid or am I forgetting a driver's name? Might need some clarification on that. If you mean Bell and Jones, because they were both in the 20 car, I would say yes, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I like Jones though. For single entry, I'm playing him. In my 3 max, I lock Jones. If you're X, whatever. I'll take my chances. Jordan says, hey, I like Almirola today in tournaments. Not much so. Not exactly the greatest road course racer out there. Was pretty bad in practice. 31st in the 1 lap, 25th in the 5 lap. I'd much rather play Jones. I'd much rather play Suarez at similar price points. I think I'd rather play Keselowski for $1,000 cheaper. Or to play Stenhouse. Just not really getting Almirola today. Let's see. Where are we at? Oh, I lost my spot. Andre says Ty D. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Almirola or Recchi Stenhouse. We'll go with Recchi there. Hopefully no wrecking today. Kind of decent chuck going just because of where he's starting. He was slow in practice though. I'm not expecting much out of Stenhouse, but if he just does not wreck, I think he'll be okay. But I don't want to play 40% Brad, so I just kind of split them between the two. Chris says, if your cash lineup was Kyle Busch, Bell, Dinger, Jones, and Ty Dillon, who'd be your last guy with 8,900 left? I guess it'd be Cindric there. If that was my cash lineup, I would have Cindric. Jesus says, last time AJ was $8,800, he finished 30th. If you mean the last road course, sure, but he was also like in first place until the final turn. Like he was gonna win, or at least finish in the top 3, and then he got spun. Like that's nothing you can do there. He's one of the best road course racers, and that's why looking specifically at finishes can be a bit noisy because it doesn't show that he was one of the best drivers in the field that day. Yes, he finished 33rd, I believe, but he was definitely not the 33rd place driver. He was top 3. Like he was really good. Josh says, Bowman or Suarez's last play on single entry DraftKings GPP. For me, that's Suarez. I like Suarez quite a bit today. Especially if it's a tournament, too. Wayne says, GPP DraftKings, Larson Elliott or Larson Truex? It's going to be Larson Truex for me. I don't think Larson Elliott meshes too well together today. Chris says, favorite cash play between $8,100 and $8,700. For me, that'd be Cindric. Because, I mean, you got to pick between Briscoe, Reddick, Cindric, Kurt Busch, and Harvick. I mean, Harvick you can make a case for sure, but I'll go with Cindric. Tevin says, I know I ask this a lot, no problem at all, but I put this in the potential DOMs, and when I try to build it, it won't let me. What should I put for... So I don't have any groups today. If you meant like the article, I put the potential DOMs in there, but I don't have a group for that today. I think that'd be a mistake for a road course. So I would just delete that group, and then for max exposure, maybe like 60%, and then randomness, I put around 30%. But I would delete the group. I don't have any groups today. If you want to make a group where it says you can only have a max of 1 with Larson and Elliott, that's fine. That might be the only group I make today. But outside of that, I don't have any groups. So Mantita with the donut, I do appreciate that. It didn't show up on my thing, so I just now saw it. But thank you, Tito. Good morning. Good morning to you as well, Ansem. Did we get a dub last time on Warzone? I can't remember. We were close. But appreciate you stopping by. Kyle says, thoughts on Dinger? Ty Dillon, Jones, Keselowski, Larson, Truex, GPP, DraftKings. And do you think it would be chalky? Yeah, it's pretty chalky. But do I think it's a good lineup? Sure. I'm trying to think, like, your lowest owned guy there is probably going to be Keselowski. So, and even then, he's going to have some ownership. So that's a very chalky lineup, yes. If you're trying to get different, I mean, you could always, like, move Jones to, like, a Suarez. But, I mean, I love Jones today a lot. It'd be hard for me to get off of Jones. Gooder says, how do I feel about Reddick? I think that's the first question we have about Reddick today, which he's probably really low owned. He didn't light it up in practice very much. I mean, 17th, 15th, and 8th. Starting in 5th, I mean, he looked good at Coda for a while, and then, I mean, starting in 5th place, he could be like a guy that no one plays that could hang around the top 5 all day and potentially dominate. So now that I think about it, maybe I should get more Reddick in my life. It's just the problem is, he's right by Dinger, he's right by Briscoe, he's right by Cindric, he's right by Kurt, he's right by... Literally, he's probably the worst play in this 8K group, so it's hard to get the too much of Reddick, because, I mean, once you look at everybody, Bell, Dinger, Reddick, or Briscoe, Cindric, Kurt, Harvick, all good plays. And it's like, well, Reddick's starting P5. Is he going to win the race? Probably not. Even if he finishes P4, is he going to be a better play than Cindric if he finishes 10th or 11th? So it's like, hard to get to too much Reddick today. If you think he's going to win, yeah, play some Reddick. I just don't personally think that's going to happen. Jim says, Chris, I was walking around the track and I noticed that the carousel has been taken out. Hope this isn't a problem. Yeah, they're running the chute this year. Running the chute. So it's expected. It's expected. But I hope you enjoy the race today, Jim. That's probably pretty fun. If you could take some pictures, you should send it in Discord. Love to see it. See the lovely girlfriend Julian is here. Good morning. I'll be heading to the pool soon. Lucky you. I unfortunately will not be. Well, maybe I can get some time in before the Awesemo stream. Maybe. We'll see. C. Austin says, good morning, back at you. Make sure you wear sunscreen. Yeah, if you don't go outside with sunscreen here, it's a rough time. That is for sure. Let me see if we got the contest looking any better. Let me see. Yeah, we got, what, 15 spots left? So if you're just not getting here, head to my Twitter, ChrisPennell16. There is a link to the contest. 15 spots left. The more people that join, the more money you can win. So, benefits everybody. It's only a couple bucks to join. Timothy says, old man is here. What's up, Timothy? Place differential day. Yippee, my fellow DFSers. Yep. Definitely a pretty good day to be heavy on place differential. Definitely don't forget about the guys closer to the front that can win the race. But yeah, definitely going to be a lot of good place differential plays you want mixed in. That is for sure. Avery says, I didn't know anything about NASCAR before I subscribed. I've cashed every Sunday this. Oh, that's awesome, Avery. That's awesome. Glad you're smashing like that. And I don't know anything about NASCAR too, so it means you're learning well. So keep up the good work. Keep up the good work. Joe says, Briscoe really messed up some great lineups, but still had a good payday. Any preferences for price picks today? Yeah, I mean, I didn't do terrible last week, but I had close to 80% Briscoe. I had him locked into my 3 max. I still had like a top 20 lineup, or at least close to it in the June bug with Briscoe, but it's like, what could have been? Like, what? Just sucks that he had the flat tire. Like anybody else with a flat tire would have been any better, but unfortunately it was Briscoe. As far as price picks, I locked some in last night. I gotta be honest, there wasn't a ton I liked, but I'm trying to see if they move. So I did a 5-man of Kyle Busch over 45.5 points. He's now at 47.5. I did Chastain over 41.5. I did Dinger over 44.5. I did Kurt over 33.5. And I took the Larson under 21.5 fast laps, but that's now down to 19.5. It doesn't mean I don't think Larson's going to be good today, but we're going to get cautions and there's not that many laps, and I feel like at some point we're going to get a new leader. I felt like the under 21.5 was pretty good. I think other people would agree because it's now down 2 laps, so see what happens there. I didn't feel comfortable with the lap sled, but the fast laps I felt pretty good under 21.5. So, I mean, if I had to pick my 2 favorite, though, it would have been Busch over 45 and Kurt over 33. Wayne says, you think Bell got his issues fixed? Scared to plan, but his position is good. Yeah, I'm assuming they did. And plus, he's a really good road course racer as well. I mean, starting in 31st, it's going to be hard for him to suck today. Like, even if he's not in his A game, I'll take his B or C game. If he can give me a top 15, top 12, I mean, I'd be super happy about that. I haven't projected for a 13.7 place finish. Obviously, you can't finish that in the real race, but once you run aggregates and whatnot, if he can finish right around 14th, we're talking close to 50 DraftKings points. Like, you don't need much out of Bell today. And he's a very solid road course racer. I'm assuming they got it fixed up. Yes says, are you concerned that Hendrick hasn't led a lap at a road course this year? No, just because we've only been at one road course, so I mean, you can't really put too much into it. But Bowman looked really good at Coda. Elliott was fine. Larson had his issues, and I don't remember what happened to Byron, but not concerned about it because we've only been at one so far. Oh, not like a Mr. Christopher. Yeah. Jesus says, thoughts on fitting Larson and Chase in single entry GPPs, Chris? Yeah, if it's a single entry, I'm probably not getting to Larson or Elliott. Personally, it's a safer approach, but I'd probably go with Busch. I mean, I got no problem with Larson or Elliott in single entry, but me personally, I'd probably roll with Kyle Busch out if I was doing it, but I'm not playing a single entry GPP today. Just because there's so many options I like. I felt like I was pigeonholing myself into something I didn't want to do. Cal says, thoughts on Harvick? I have close to 20% on Harvick today. I don't love him, but I mean, yes, he's very good at Sonoma. And he finished 11th at Coda. Like, starting in 23rd, yeah, he's a solid player. It's about really all I can say about him. Like, he doesn't jump off the page to me, but he's been solid this year. I mean, his average finish is 11.2. Past 10 races, road courses, though, not super pretty. It's inside the top 20, but I think he's fine. I prefer Cindric, though. I prefer Kurt Busch. I like Harvick more than I like Bowman, though. David says, can you rank Logano, Blaney, and Briscoe for cash? I'm not really a fan of any of them for cash games, but if I had to, I would say Blaney first, then Briscoe, and then Logano. But, I mean, if you're playing cash games, I'm not landing on those guys. It's going to be really low in cash games. Anthony says, Truex, Dinger, Chastain, Elliott, Ty Dillon, Gilliland. Thoughts? Whew, not sure I love the double punt, to be honest. I mean, I love the four drivers you have. I'm surprised that even fits. You have Truex, Dinger, Chastain, Elliott. I mean, it's not my favorite way to build, but it's loaded. And if Gillen and Ty Dillon just don't die, it's not the worst. I mean, I won't talk you off of it. Tito says, spread trying to one-up me. Yeah, he does that, doesn't he? And he does. And I'm sorry I didn't see your dono at first. It just didn't pop up on the screen for some reason. Kyle says, Harvick or Bowman final driver for GPP DraftKings? It would be Harvick for me. I mean, they feel very similar. I just take the 4 extra spots that Harvick can give me. Tyler says, how do you join the Discord? It's part of like the Patreon thing, so it's just an auto-in. It's private, so there's not like a public link for it. AJ Davidson says, can you give us a core for single entry? If I'm playing single entry, I'm 100% playing Jones and Bell today. 100% playing Jones and Bell if I was playing single entry. Wayne says, no one talking about Bubba, Busher, or Stenhouse. Any interest in these guys? I'm not playing Busher today. I don't see it happening. As far as Bubba and Stenhouse are concerned, you can play them. Bubba just sucks at road courses, and Stenhouse is just really slow. I'd prefer Stenhouse over Bubba, but I have around 15 to 20% on both of these guys. Maybe that's too much, and I should add more Brad Keselowski. I have not yet done my 100% final crunch yet, so I might up my Brad, lower Bubba a little bit, lower some Stenhouse, see what kind of gets picked around there. But yeah, we'll see. Not a huge fan though. FE says, prize picks, Chris. Need my underdog lineup to hit to get some money back that I lost to the colluding C. Austin and Trey last night in MMA. I know I'm probably behind in the chat, so you probably saw what I said, so I won't repeat it. And some of the numbers did change, but Like Kyle at 47.5 is not as appealing as it was at 45.5, but I think Kurt's number is still pretty good. Spread says Chandler, I want everyone to one up us. That'd be nice. Kenny says, will today be a Bubba day? Road course is really on a strong suit. I wouldn't really call it a Bubba day. Like, I can play some Bubba, but I'm not super excited about it. Opinions on Ty Dillon. So I have a lot of Ty Dillon for two reasons. One, he's just in the back, and as long as he doesn't wreck, he should limp his way to a top 25. And then he also allows me to fit in my studs. Like, I want Larson, Elliott, Busch, Truex, Chastain, and I need a cheap guy, and he's starting just about dead last. And yeah, I like his teammate Eric Jones a lot. And if he can just contend for a top 25 today and just doesn't lose spots, I will be happy with it. How do I feel about Chastain on Fanduel? Asked Cameron. What is he? 12,000? Yeah, I like Chastain. Let me see how much he popped up in my crunch really quick. Yeah, honestly, I could see getting to like over 25% Chastain on Fanduel. Trying to see his projected ownership. Yeah, I mean, I'd probably want close to 30% Chastain. Probably. Truex is really hard not to get to on FanDuel just because, I mean, obviously there's no fast laps over there, and lap slud equal 1.1 point. So even then, it's like, that's pretty much worthless. So Bell and Truex probably the guys I get to the most of on FanDuel. And then we get a lot of Kyle Busch too. Elliott Larson are a little bit tougher sells over there. Aaron says, I'm here now. Start over, Chris? Okay, we'll start the entire stream over. But if you do have any questions, let me know. I'd be more than happy to answer them again. Wes says, Hamlin is a beta. Had several chances to get Chastain last week. All talk. See, I like Hamlin, so I'm not gonna agree. But yeah, it was a bit of a feud last week. I don't know how Chastain still finished where he did. When did he finish 7th? Because I just remember he was like 31st or 32nd, whatever, just hanging out with Hamlin, fighting him all day, it seemed like. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I personally like the way Chastain is. I mean, we have to have villains. I mean, everyone's going to have a villain, and Chastain seems to be playing it well so far. He's kind of reminded me of Kyle Busch a little bit. Not saying he's as good as Kyle Busch, but I mean, so far this year he's kind of been. Kyle says, $8,100 left. Final DK driver GPP. So I'm not sure who else you have. I mean, projection-wise, Eric Jones would be my favorite play there, but assuming you already have him in, it's between Suarez or Harvick. So if you have a lot of place differential guys, I would pivot to Suarez. If you don't have, if you already have a few guys starting close to the front, I would go with Harvick there. Jesus says, thoughts on your boy Blaney? Not a huge fan today. It's just like, I'd rather play Byron starting 6 spots further back. I'd rather play Chastain and everyone above him. And then the 8K range projects better than Blaney, in my opinion, with Bell, with Dinger. So I'm not getting to a lot of Blaney today. I think I have under 10%. Sorry, it was Jones. I thought it was Jones and Bell. I get them confused sometimes too. So I understand that. I understand it. Appreciate the dono. My filler arc. Don't know much about NASCAR, but is picking up people in the late 20s position a good idea? An example, just getting points by going up, can't go down, right? Well, okay, so you can lose points if they lose spots still. So let's say Harvick starts 23rd and he finishes 26th. Yeah, you're going to lose, 3 or 4 points for that. But they also don't have the ability to lose as many points as the guys starting close to the front. So if you're brand new to NASCAR, each track's different. So this is not a strategy I'd recommend using at a short track. We usually kind of front load those lineups because there's a lot of lap lead points. Not the case this weekend. But they're a lot safer because they, like, you know, a guy like, for example, Todd Reddick starting in 5th, if he finishes, 13th, that's awful. But if a guy like, let's say Dinger finishes 17th, I mean, it's not as bad because you're not losing as many points, if that makes sense. So they can go down, but the floors are very high, and obviously they have more potential to gain spots. And a track with not many laps, it does make sense to want to get these place differential guys like Christopher Bell or Eric Jones, for example. So hopefully that answered your question. Mo says, oh, lost my chat here. Hold on. Mo says, tough decisions. Which 8K driver do I want? Kurt Busch is already in my lineup. So if I had to rank them, it would be Bell, Cindric, Kurt for my top 3 in the 8K range. So take that for what you will. It's just really hard to avoid Bell. It really is. He feels like the same play as Truex, but you're getting a $1,000 discount. Sarugi says, any thoughts on this for GPP? Fanduel, Cindric, Suarez, Kyle Busch, Bell, Hamlin? Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I was getting a decent amount of Hamlin over on Fanduel, definitely a lot more than what I had on DraftKings. But yeah, it's a solid lineup for sure. Bell's price is only $8,500 on Fanduel. He's pretty much a lock-in. Cameron says, is it a good idea to fade 1 and 2, or do you feel you need at least one of them? You don't have to 100% play them. You can fade them, sure. Like if you want to pivot to a Kyle Busch or Truex, that's totally fine. But I don't want to I don't know how many laps you're playing. If you're playing 1, yeah, I understand that. If you're playing like 20 or 150, I'm definitely getting some exposure to Larson or Elliott. But I don't really want to play both together that often at all. Derek says, if you had to guess, who do you think finishes top 5 today? Oh, so I'm trying to remember the picture in my head. Because I put a thing in Discord the other day, but I think I had, what was it, Larson, Elliott, Busch, Chastain, and I think who was it? My projections for 5th. Oh, I had Hamlin coming 5th. I think, yeah. So we'll see. I definitely feel like the top 4 dogs are going to be Larson, Elliott, Busch, and Chastain today. 5th's kind of a wild card. Could be Dinger. Could be I don't know. Truex might be a bit of a stretch, but could be Suarez, one of those kind of guys. But I feel pretty good about Larson, Elliott, Busch, and Chastain as being the front runners. Colin says 6,500 left. Who do I play? Oh gosh, it's either gonna be Bubba or Ty Dillon for me. Those are the 2 options I would get to. 8 to 5 on Cleveland says, I have no idea how you find the time to play Warzone. So I play usually pretty late. I want to say we were playing around 2 a.m. last night. And then I didn't go to bed till like 3 something. But then, yeah, I play Warzone a lot though. I love it. It's my favorite game. It's hard to play it every day. Ever since it came out, I've been a religious player of it. Really enjoy it. Mike says, Chris, how do you feel about Larson, Kyle Busch, Truex, Jones, Ty Dillon, and Burton? It's not bad. I mean, it's really top heavy, but it's not a bad lineup. I mean, because Ty Dillon and Burton, I mean, yeah, they're scrubs, but they're not terrible. It's not like you're playing like Ware and Balicki, so it's fine. Derek says, did you see that the Florida Everglades, or Everblades, something, won the Kelly Cup last night? I'm not sure what the Cup is. I'm gonna look it up though. It sounds like soccer. I could be totally wrong though. Let's see. Kelly Cup is hockey. Okay, I was guessing hockey or soccer. Is that like a minor league team, semi-professional league, something like that? I'm not 100% sure, but right by the Everglades. That's awesome. But no, I did not see that. Nate says, if you had to finish 1 and 2, who you got? It's the boring answer, Larson, Elliott. If it's not Larson, Elliott, I think Kyle Busch or Chastain can mix it up there. But they definitely look like the 2 best guys today. Sorry for the boring, chalky answer. JJ says, when was the last time they ran the chute? Several years ago. I forget the exact time though. Let me see. Sonoma chute. Let's see. I was reading up on it the other day. Okay. Allmendinger. Okay. Last one on the chute in 2018. Larson. Yeah, it's definitely a couple years ago. Which I think a lot of people like the chute better. What's up? Like number 82. Appreciate it. Yeah, the more likes we get, the better. Do appreciate that. Big Gooder says, what about McDowell? Tough spot for McDowell today. He's starting, what, P4? Usually I like him at road courses, but that's a real tough starting spot to get to. There's just not a lot of upside there at all. And it's like, do you really think McDowell's going to hang around with, Larson, Elliott, Bush, Chastain, all those kind of guys? I don't think so. I think he can only go backwards. Grady Flick says, hey Chris, when you get a chance, check your personal messages on Twitter. Sent a nice appreciation message a few days ago. Oh, well, thank you very much. I will definitely check it out. I don't check the DMs too often. I usually just get on Twitter to read some news, so I apologize for not seeing it, but I will definitely look now. Thank you very much in advance for that. Started NASCAR DFS 2 months ago and been loving it ever since. Glad to hear it. I think, a lot of people don't want to give NASCAR a try because they think it's just some, redneck hillbilly sport. But for DFS purposes, I think it's by far the most fun. I wish more people would give it a try because it's really fun to learn and strategize. And it's one of those sports where you can't really just get on the optimizer and just click optimize. Like, there's so many different strategies. And, if you look around the industry, they don't have their projections set up well for, certain track types. And I think there's always going to be a solid edge in NASCAR because you definitely have to follow it to at least have, a decent chance. So, appreciate that. I'll definitely give it a look, though. Wayne says, Suarez, Stenhouse, Jr., Cinder. I don't know why I was thinking Dale. Suarez, Stenhouse, Jr., Cindric, thinking about place differential, GPP, Stenhouse probably scores more, right? Between those guys, I would have Cindric projected the best. Stenhouse is starting a couple spots further back, but Cindric's got, legit good road course skills, so if I had to rank that, I'd go Cindric, Suarez, Stenhouse. Colin says, where do you think Bubba ends up at the end? Probably the wall. He's just not very good at road courses. But in all seriousness, I haven't projected where. Where do I have Bubba projected at? I gave him a 21.6 place projected finish. That's around 29 fantasy points. It's fine. It's not bad. It's not great. I have Ty Dillon projected higher by a half. Stenhouse projected higher. It's just not someone I'm getting to a ton of. But he's fine. This is a cheap play. Chris says, it feels sketchy for some reason playing Truex over Kyle Busch and Cash. Yeah, I understand that. I understand that for sure. And you're mainly just, he starts 28th compared to 12th. It's the room for error for Truex is not that. You have a lot of leeway with Truex. And I do think he's going to be high around. HBG says, personally like William Byron today and Kyle Busch. William Byron's fine. He's just priced around a lot of guys I like more. So that's why I'm kind of having a harder time to get to Byron. I still have some of them. I think I have over 15% Byron today. But I'm with you on Kyle Busch. I think Kyle Busch could be arguably the best play on the slate today. Jordan says, Bell or Jones if you had to choose. If I had to choose, Bell. But two favorite plays today. Wayne says, Ty Dillon finish top 20. Any chances you think? It's possible. Ty Dillon does the same thing just about every single week. He qualifies poorly. He practices bad. He's slow during the race, and then he finishes 23rd. If he does that today, I'll take it. I will take it. Dinger or Bell says T-Mac. I would go with Bell there. Spread says, join CPAN Patreon and get your Discord link here. Appreciate the promo for me, Spread. Yeah, if you do want to join, all the projections are over there. Ownership, optimizer, Discord community, all that fun stuff. More than happy to have you join. Aaron says, $100 short with my initial desired build. That's how it always is. It's like DraftKings knows, isn't it? But I built a couple lineups where it's I would love to sign up about $100 more, but unfortunately, it's not the case sometimes. I bet we had a similar build going. Devin says, the cash build core? For me, that's going to be Bell and Jones, and then I'm probably throwing in Truex as far as a cash core goes. Gary says, thoughts on Logano today? So I don't have a lot of Logano, and it does concern me just because I think he can be kind of sneaky today. We know he's good at road courses. He's good at Sonoma, good at technical road courses. At 9K flat, starting in 9th, no one's going to play him. He's priced right in between Byron and Bell and Dinger. So if you're looking for a very low in tournament play that has the potential to win the race, he's there. Wasn't super fast in practice, though. I think he can be a top 8 guy, but I'm not sure we're going to see him in the optimal unless he pulls off the dub, which I don't really see happening. Albert says, cash game lineup with Truex, Chastain, Eric Jones, Ty Dillon, Bowman, and Bell. It's not a bad cash lineup. I'm not personally getting the Chastain there, but I mean, I have no problem with the lineup at all. It's all drivers that I would target today. My filler says, thank you. I actually have Allmendinger. Oh, perfect. That works out then. Definitely works out. Rob says, how is McDowell on these types of tracks? He's pretty good at road courses. I don't think he's top 5 good, but he is good at them. But he's in a tough spot for me at $7,100 starting in 4th. I just think he only goes backwards. And if you're looking at Sonoma specifically, 26th place average finish, 22nd running position. I'm not in love with it. Aaron says, who's higher projected, Reddick or Kurt Busch? For me, it's Kurt Busch. I mean, I feel like they could finish somewhat similar for this race, and he's starting 6 spots further back, and he was also very fast in practice and really good at Sonoma and road courses in general. So, yeah, Kurt Busch projecting better, and I think he's the better play. T-Max says, thoughts on Austin Dillon? Once was a terrible road course driver, still not great, but he has been getting better. Looking at his past 6 finishes at road courses, 10th, 15th, if you want to exclude the 31st, 15th, 11th, 13th. So he's been a top 15 machine at them. Starting at 13th, no one's going to want to play him. I don't really want to play him either, but he's at least worth looking at for a couple of lineups. But if I'm building like 1 to 20 lineups, he's not going to make it. I think I have a few percentages on my 150 max, but it's not much. Jake says, who's the Doms? Not really targeting Doms today. Like, I'm targeting guys that have good finishing position potential, and those guys would be like Kyle Larson, Elliott, Chastain. I guess you can kind of throw Kyle Busch and Kurt Busch in the mix there, but I mean, really it'd be like Larson, Elliott, Chastain, and I guess Busch. AJ Robinson says, how about Elliott, Truex, Blaney, Logano, and Keselowski for Fanduel? 5 players had to throw Keselowski in due to low remaining salary. That's fine. I think Blaney and Logano are better plays on Fanduel than they are in DraftKings, so yeah, I don't mind that. And Keselowski's dirt cheap over there. He's $4,500. I didn't realize how cheap he was. Joel says, thoughts on stacking Elliott Larson? Not doing it too often. It's just, I would rather pair one of those guys up with like a Busch or a Truex rather than playing them together. I don't think it's likely we'll see the 1-2 optimal. Is it possible? It's possible, but there's just not that many laps. And then the PD guys will have to suck. Jay says, let's go. Let's do it. Looking forward to it. AJ says, or Elliott, Kyle Busch, Bowman, Blaney, or Jones. That one might look a little bit better, AJ, for Fanduel. Might look a little bit better. Nothing to it but true it. I like it. Any thoughts on Joey Hand? He's starting too high up for me. He's good at road courses, but obviously I can't trust the equipment, and he's just starting. Like 17th, he's only going to go backwards. Joanne says, good luck, Chris, and appreciate your insights. Thank you, Joanne. And Joanne left a comment on YouTube yesterday. She said she's 87, and she usually does pretty well in our contest every single week, so she's doing better than a lot of us. And I got to give it to her. That's awesome. Definitely got to give my respect there. Hopefully you can keep it up. Smokey says, spot on about people thinking it's a hillbilly sport. I tell guys I'm a fan and they laugh. Yeah, I'm like the least, like I'm not even close to being like that because I'm not like into a lot of that stuff. But I love NASCAR. Like it's super fun. Super fun to watch. The cars look cool and it's fun to play fantasy on. Like I think people should give it a try. I wish it was more popular. Monty says, thoughts on Reddick today? Tough spot for me. I prefer everybody else in the AK range, so it's like it's almost impossible for me to get to a lot of Reddick. Jake says, bro, you got the same shirt on as your video from me. I sure do. Don't worry, I didn't do anything yesterday, though. Derek says, Everblades are a minor league hockey team. They're local to Fort Myers. Oh, I didn't know that. They're in Fort Myers. I don't know much about hockey, so that's probably why I didn't know. But yeah, I've driven past the Hertz Arena a lot, so I didn't know they were so close. That's pretty cool. Ken says the Bubba Wall joke was I mean, it happens a lot for Bubba. I think we all know that. Flights Demon says, thanks, Chris. You got me hooked on NASCAR. Love betting on it. Awesome. I'm glad you enjoy it. It's fun. I mean, it took off during COVID because it was the only sport on, and I guess that was a blessing in disguise. But yeah, I got a lot of people hooked to it, and obviously some people have come and go, but I definitely think there's been a lot of people that stick around that have really started to enjoy it. Andrew says Larson to win 365, Elliott 350, Larson top 3, Elliott top 3. Got it on Wednesday. I like that. I like that a lot. I mean, they definitely look like the two best cars today. As long as they don't run into issues and it like goes what you'd expect. I mean, yeah, they'll probably both finish in the top 3 today. So yeah, nice job getting that on Wednesday. And the Chastain and Kyle Busch's top 5s on even money. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you there. I think those guys can all finish in the top 5 today for sure. I agree. DFS Ed says, thoughts on McDowell? Tough to get. I'm not doing it. I am playing no McDowell today, and if he wins, whatever. I guess I'll take the L. But I just don't see it happening. Hamlin or dinner on Fanduel? I'm kind of hungry, so I'll go with dinner there. But I know you mean Dinger, so I'll go with... If it's Dinger or Hamlin on Fanduel, I'd probably go with Dinger. Andrew says, I will not be slotting into your DMs with any messages. Khan says, Cash feeling hard this week? Yeah, it's hard in the sense there's so many good plays. I think if you're playing Cash, you got to get Truex, Bell, Jones in. I think you're playing those 3 for sure. A lot of people play Ty Dillon. That's 4 at that point. You can play Cindric. You can play Harvick. You can play Byron. I don't know if you can fit Kyle Busch in there at any point. You can play Stenhouse. Like, there's a lot of options. I think there's 4 you're probably playing for sure, though. Wayne says, Kyle Busch better than Ross and Suarez, right? I hope. Should be. Josh says, are you okay fighting Bell and DraftKings single entry? If I'm playing a single entry today, I'm probably playing Bell. Now, if it's to get away from Bell to play a guy like Dinger, sure. That's fine. But it's hard not to like Bell today. But if you're getting away from him to throw in a guy like Allmendinger or something like that, that's fine. What's up, Obi? Not very many good thoughts on Buescher. I thought he showed some speed yesterday, obviously, but he's just starting too far up for me. Way too far up. Hockey says, place differential today? Yeah, I'll be pretty heavy on place differential for the most part. Do not forget about guys that can finish high, that are starting inside the top 10, top 12, but yeah, it's pretty heavy on place differential today. Ace Boogie says, what chalk play would you fade? If I had fade any chalk play today, I mean, if you want to say William Byron's chalky, I would probably be underweight on Byron, but if you mean like actual like chalky chalk plays, Truex just to get to more Kyle Busch or Chastain or something like that, probably. Flights Demon says, pick one winner and place differential the rest. Yeah, that's fine strategy. You can even go like 2 guys you think will finish in the top 5, or 1 wins, 1 finishes top 5. That's fine. Then place differential, but yeah. Fanduel core. I'm playing a lot of Bettle over there. Definitely gonna have a lot of Jones, and I'll have a lot of Truex. I mean, it's like the same guys, pretty much. Kyle Busch is also very appealing over there too. Derek says, where do I find ownership projections? I don't know which website you use. I mean, for me personally, it's on my optimizer. But, I mean, if you're on Osmo, it's on the ownership projections tab. I mean, I don't know, maybe if you're on Roto Grinders, wherever they have it, I'm not sure, though. Doug says, what is the most money you can leave on the table in cash today? I wouldn't leave a ton of money on the table today. Off the top of my head, I don't know how much money certainly I have to leave off the table, but not a ton. Like, don't be leaving 3K on the table. Or I wouldn't even do 2K. Bear says, Bubba Wall Ace. I like that. I like that. It's funny. Andrew says, the Korean baseball days. I didn't go that deep. I was considering making like Korean baseball stat sheets and stuff, and I was like, man, screw it. I'm not getting up at 5 a.m. to build lineups. I swear, like, all of them had like the same last name. That sounds like a really tough time. Hockey Freak Sean says MMA and NASCAR most fun to play DFS. Yeah, I've played MMA a couple times. It's fun. I don't do it often, but yeah. I mean, I think the niche sports are a lot more fun than playing like NBA, baseball, football, in my opinion. The niche sports are always really fun. Steven says, thoughts on Cindric? Great road course racer, especially in the Xfinity Series. He finished top 10 at Coda. I don't see a reason why he can't be, not a contender today, but a top 10, top 12 guy, which at his price point where he's starting, that's totally fine. Rick says, if he was to hand build one lineup on Fanduel, who would it be? I'm not going to give a whole lineup out, but I'd definitely be playing Christopher Bell. I'd probably be playing Kyle Busch, and then Jones, and then if I can fit Truex, and I'd like that, but let's see. Doug says Truex, Bell, Cindric, AJ, Jones, Dylan for cash where he gets 600 left. No, 600 is fine. That's not a big deal. And so it's basically one of the lineups I like, but it's Dinger over William Byron, which I think is fine. So honestly, kind of like yours a little bit better anyway. So yeah, it's a fine lineup. You're welcome, Obi. You're welcome, Sean. Wayne says I thought Harvick was good at road courses. He was really good back in the day. He definitely trailed off quite a bit. I mean, he's not a bad play today. I think he finished 11th at Coda. I mean, if he does that, you'd be happy. You're welcome, T-Mac. No, downer points are not very important today at all, Richard. Like, yeah, you're going to want the main lap leader in your lineup as long as they finish well, but it's not really too important today. Derek says, outside of Larson and Elliott, who has the best chances for top 5 betting purposes? If you're asking my opinion or just straight up, I think straight up it's Chastain, Busch, and Truex. But me personally, I would say Chastain, Busch, and then I think Dinger could slide in there. Andre says Truex, Dinger, Cindric, Jones, Kurt on Fanduel. That's a really good lineup. I like that a lot. I mean, Truex PD, Dinger, some PD, but could win. Cindric, good PD, Jones. Yeah, that's a good lineup. I liked it a lot. But I think I finally caught up to the chat. I think we've been on over an hour, so I think I'm going to get out of here unless anyone has any more dire questions. But I do appreciate everyone stopping by. Appreciate the donos. Hopefully we got over 100 likes. That'd be awesome if we did. But I got to build some lineups. Hopefully you all have best of luck today. I'll be over on Osmo at 3 p.m. breaking it down with Jason Floyd and myself. Going over the entire slate. Ask me some more questions if you want. I'll just let you know right now, if anyone goes to the rear, don't care today unless it's like Larson or Elliott. But outside of that, doesn't really make a difference to me. So thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you all next time. And no Cody wear today, please. He failed tech 4 times, and it's not a good time probably. So I'll pass on that.